The second thing that was fascinating is that readers are really leaning into diverse stories. And this is particularly coming in from the Gen Zs. So the Gen Zs are currently about 12 to 27 years old. And the slightly older age group, so the 18 plus, who are allowed to mess around on the internet more than everybody else, are really deliberately seeking out more diverse stories. They would like to see their own diverse selves reflected in the stories that they read. And I thought that was a really interesting thing to see, because not only are Gen Z wanting those diverse stories, they're really into reading. So the Gen Zs, there's been a whole spate of stories recently. 40% of them read every day. And I think more than 50% of them are reading several times a week. They are liking to go to libraries to socialize instead of coffee shops and things. They like those spaces, possibly also because libraries in more recent years have really stopped being a kind of shush, shush, shush kind of place. And they've opened up a bit. They have bars, they have cafes, they have spaces where you can network and talk, and nobody's going to go shush, shush, shush to you. My local library has a big networking sort of space, and they say, oh, we open it up for kids to come and study. And so they'll come into the library and they'll study together, and then they're making friends and they're talking to people. And they said it's really nice to watch that. And of course, then they're surrounded by books, and then they get more into the kind of book vibe generally. So it's quite nice to know that here's this young generation who are really into reading, because presumably they're going to take that through with them. And you have to hope that the Gen Alphas that are going to be next up after them are going to continue that pathway. So for authors, that's a fascinating thing to know, that you've got an up and coming, very into reading group who are searching for those diverse stories. So not only do they want lots of books, they would like them to have diverse characters in them. The other thing that's interesting is they like paperbacks. They want the bookiness of it, you know? So that's interesting as well, because we all went ebooks, ebooks, ebooks. They're now kind of pushing a bit of an interest in paperbacks. And I think perhaps that's something to do with the physicality of it. So things like TikTok, you'll have the people with books in the background holding up the books. You know, it becomes a prop. It becomes something that an actual product that you talk about and interact with physically. So I really liked that. I thought that was an interesting thing for people to think about. And when I say diverse stories, I was chairing a panel at the London Book Fair talking with various authors about this, and it's not so much we want diverse characters and we have to just focus on what their diversity is. It's diverse characters just doing their ordinary lives. They just want to see regular life with the diverse characters doing the regular stuff. And I think that opens it up to far more authors, really, because it stops being about, are you in a position to write that diverse author? Well, I am if they're running a bakery, and I'm just focusing on the bakery running of it. That's what they're there for. They're not there to investigate every aspect of their diversity. They're just running their normal life. And I think that is a really interesting and important and quite positive thing for all authors to think about. Are you including diverse characters who are just getting on with their lives like the rest of your characters are doing? Put everybody in there together. That's what life's like out there.